to the city of Providence in order to create a plan to do a very good investment of the money, the funding that is coming from the American Rescue Plan. This group, the task force, has been executing weekly meetings every Friday, which are public meetings in the City Hall of the City of Providence. And we have been listening several presentations. Now we want to hear from the public, and today specifically for the business owner, not just about the experience and how has been affected by the pandemic, the COVID-19 in their business, but also we want to hear from you. What do you consider are the top priorities where this funding could be invested? We want to initially be focused in all the impact that the COVID-19 had in our community today, again, in our business community. So please, we have a time restraint, time constraints, so we have short time, but I will appreciate that in your intervention, not just say, explain how you have been affected, but also please, if you have any ideas, you have any proposal that help us to establish the priority in order to complete the report and present the recommendation to the City of Providence. So I would like to start welcoming the Mayor of the City of Providence, Jorge Lorza, who I would invite to say some words. Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Oscar. Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. I think the most important thing is to get the meeting started and to get the input from everyone here. You know, Gil and Oscar mentioned the opportunity that we have, and we want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we're getting your ideas, so please share. There's also an opportunity at providencerescueplan.com to give your suggestions and your thoughts online. So please help us make sure that we're investing right in our community and taking advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So thanks so much for being a part of this, and I look forward to seeing all the great ideas that come out of it. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to ask to the organizer if we have present any task force member or member of the City Council. There is no one present. Okay, then we have for today some panelists that we invited in order to talk a little bit more about the impact of the COVID and how the funding could be used. And I would like to introduce and invite our friend Shana Vishai. Mrs. Chai is Executive Director of the Center for Southeast Asian and have served on the State COVID-19 Equity Council, an advisory council that was created to ensure that the state's emergency response and recovery strategies address the specific needs of the community most impacted by the pandemic. I will invite Ms. Shana Vishai to do some comments, please.
Thank you, Arthur, and thank you, Jackson, Mayor and City Council who is here with us today. I really appreciate it that you invite me to speak to the committee today. It's a very important topic. When it comes with money, we talk about millions and millions of dollars, but those dollars evaporate very quickly. It's almost like water and fire. You can have these fire and you put these water in, and the fire is still raging. So, and that's how I feel, is that when we look at $123 million, it's gone. It's done, and we have to be proactive. We have to take an active measure to making sure that every business, so the City of Providence said the the city of Providence belongs to the fabric of many group of people, not just a very few, not just have the people that have the long arm that can reach into the pocket very quickly, very swiftly, but those people that may have not had the opportunity is giving the opportunity to get those, because they are the fabric, they are the backbone of cities. And so I just want to make sure that while we're thinking about planning and organizing, distributing 123 million, which is not a great deal of money, is making sure that we allocated some resources for those people who have very short arms, who's not able to. When I mean short arm is that they don't know how to maneuver government system. They don't know how to maneuver the process. Number two is that their language skill are not at an optimal level where they get it. And also work with our institution, whether if we go to work with banking, is that those bankers, we can learn from the PPP first process that came out. Guess who got the money? Who got the processing? The bank don't want to process a 1,500 or 2,000 or 5,000 or 20,000. They're going to want to do a $15 million process, because one shot deal, they get the big lump. So I think that I'm asking all folks that are here to recommend a process where that whether who you are, what you are, all business in Providence are the backbone of the city of Providence and the overall state of our economy. So thank you for the opportunity to share with you this moment.
Thank you, Shanavi. Just to reinforce the message, it's really important for us to listen from you. What are your recommendations or your suggestion, and even any idea that you can have? That is the reason that we are open this conversation space, but also you can have direct communication through the website, or even if you want to reach direct any member of the task force, we are here to help. We are here to listen you and to prepare that report with the recommendation. So continuing with the agenda, we also have today a special guest, which is Shondell Burney Speaks. Mr. Burney Speaks is a senior advisor to Mayor Elorza and leads the African American Ambassador Group for Social Justice. We invited to listen some comments and remarks about this process to collect information for the task force today. Ms. Shondell, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Oscar. I'm excited to be here. I want to share just a couple of points because I want to make sure that everyone who is on the panel gets an opportunity to speak. But I do want to share briefly how COVID impacted small businesses. And it really left a lot of people hanging. It left businesses that were small, that didn't have the opportunity to have a reserve, that didn't have, that wasn't making enough money to have a reserve, a savings account for a rainy day. Like a lot of the small businesses were actually just making it. And COVID shut down a lot of small businesses in our city. There were only so many businesses that still, were able to make it with support that they had, but it did impact so many on such a negative basis. And we are thankful for this program, that it's here now, that in hopes that it will be able to assist those businesses that found themselves struggling or had to make the hard choice to close. I feel as though I really want to highlight where I believe providing resources would be most impactful. And that is, of course, with mentorship programs, funded mentorship programs, youth programs for Black and Brown children. We have mentorship programs throughout the city, but they struggle with their lack of funding. And so it's really hard to ask someone who's living in Providence, who might not be in the best situation, to volunteer their time and mentor a youth of color when they're barely able to make ends meet on their own. There are so many youth programs that ask the adults to take kids out and spend money on the children. And so that's why I think it's really important to have mentorship programs that are already funded that could have stipends for the mentors, so that when they do take the children out on an outing or whatever, that outing is already paid for, and that's not coming from someone who's in a position of being a hard worker and barely able to make ends meet in their own household. So that's one thing. I think that faith programs need to be invested in. There are a lot of faith programs that do a lot of great work in the city, and they're struggling. A lot of our churches were shut down. A lot of our churches, they can't afford to have a building, and they're looking for buildings. They're looking for places to worship. And so if we can help house those churches, if we can help, because they're asking to do things that are admirable, like food pantries, clothes pantries, things that really will help the community. And so those organizations that are applying, I hope that we're able to assist them. My third point is entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the next best thing. Everyone, even young people, there aren't a lot of people who want to work a job. There are so many people who have creative minds, who are outstanding in their creativity, and they're looking to become business owners. They're looking to be entrepreneurs, but they need guidance with business. They need guidance with customer service. People are opening up businesses at all-time highs right now, but they do not have the resources to keep them sustainable. So I'm really asking that if we're going to choose entrepreneurs to fund them, in hopes that not only are they funded, but make sure that they have the resources to provide the opportunity, to be provided the opportunity to be an outstanding business, to be a sustainable business, to teach them communication skills, to teach them business management, budgeting, planning, financial planning. We have financial planners of color that would be honored to work with folks out here who are opening up and starting their own businesses. So, and my last point is Black radio. We have radio in Providence, but we do not have Black radio. Many of you know that our young people are dying. Our young people, they don't have opportunities to help themselves. They don't have jobs. The mayor is working really hard to create opportunities for young people. But let me tell you, these young people need to hear what's being said on the radio station. They're listening to radio, they're listening to the music. That is what's going to get the message out to them, to help them see and know where these opportunities are and how they're accessible to the opportunities that possibly help save their lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Andel. I appreciate all your suggestions. And I want to say that we have a team behind the task force group, some consultants, they are taking note, and all those proposals will be considered to go to the final report. So I appreciate your input. And in the same way, I want to confirm that at the end of the process of the presentation, we will have a session open to the public. So please, everyone who is connected, feel free to give us your opinion and give us your information. So thank you very much, Ms. Chandler.
Thank you for having me.
The second, we will continue with the second part of the meeting, where we invited some leaders in the different industry in the city of Providence. We choose some business that has been really affected, and we know that the COVID-19 impacted every small business, but we know that in restaurants and nightlife, the impact was higher, the same in the personal services or what we call essential services. For that reason, we have several leaders that we want to invite to talk. So in this case, I would like to invite Jesus Titin. He's the owner of Mi Sueño. And I would like to invite him to talk, to tell us a little bit about how the nightlife and the restaurant was impacted, and what could be, from your point of view, what are the priorities that that could be covered with the funding regarding to the American Rescue Plan. Do we have Mr. Jesus?
Oscar, I don't think he's here yet, so let's come back to him.
Okay, then let's move with the next one who is invited. We have Alexandra Flores. Alexandra is a owner of a child care, okay? It was another industry highly impacted. So she will speak in Spanish, and for the people who doesn't speak in Spanish, there will be translation. So Alexandra, you are invited to give us your input, please.
Buenas tardes. Agradezco la invitación y ser parte de esta mesa y poder traer mi opinión y gracias porque al mismo momento estoy representando al gremio de proveedoras de cuidado infantil de Rhode Island. Mi nombre es Alexandra Flores y he sido proveedora de cuidado infantil con licencia en el estado de Rhode Island por más de 20 años. Como es de conocimiento de todos, nosotros fuimos impactadas por la pandemia de COVID-19, porque al igual que las escuelas, nuestros programas fueron cerrados en marzo. Y luego en junio tuvimos la oportunidad y la autorización del Estado para reabrir. Al reabrir nuestros programas, fuimos un gremio que fuimos, como salimos del anonimato y nos dimos a conocer y fuimos reconocidos de cierta manera como trabajadores esenciales. Nuestro trabajo muy importante para que el resto de las personas pudiesen volver a sus trabajos. Nosotros poder cuidar sus niños, y ellos volver a ejercer su trabajo. Al regresar al reabrir nuestros programas, nos vimos expuestos al contagio porque las familias salían a trabajar, especialmente el gremio de los trabajadores de la salud. Entonces ahí estaba el mayor riesgo, el mayor temor estaba ahí en tener el contacto con esa persona que trabajaba en el gremio de la salud. Y de una manera u otra, pues en algún momento nos tocó y nos contagiamos. En mi caso, en mi hogar, en mi familia nos contagiamos todos, pero fue algo leve, gracias a Dios estamos bien y no hubo novedad ni nada que lamentar. Económicamente fuimos afectados de grande manera porque no hemos vuelto a tener la misma capacidad en nuestros programas de los mismos niños, porque esto es un efecto dominó, donde si no hay personas que regresan a sus trabajos, nosotros no tenemos trabajo con los niños. Entonces hay muchos programas que cerraron, a pesar de que pudieron recibir ciertas ayudas del Estado. Hay programas que cerraron. Habemos programas que no estamos trabajando a la capacidad límite, estamos ahí como en un 30-40% todavía. Estamos como sobreviviendo con las ayudas que nos pudieron ofrecer a nivel estatal. Entonces, yo pensaba una sugerencia, ¿cómo podría ayudarnos quizás la ciudad? y para tener alcance a estos fondos, como dijo la señora anteriormente, los fondos se desaparecen, se evaporan y se van rápido. Y quizás surgía una idea en mi mente y digo yo, un anuncio en la televisión podría ser una forma de ayudarnos, porque quizás muchos padres desconocen la manera de cómo contactar una proveedora de cuidado infantil en casa. Y ya vemos muchos y por la misma pandemia, muchos padres se inclinan por tener sus niños en un lugar donde hayan pocos niños. Un hogar guardería es una buena opción en este momento. Entonces, un anuncio en la televisión local donde el padre pueda tener esa orientación y saber dónde accesar a la lista de proveedoras certificadas en el estado de Rhode Island, fue una idea que me llegó a mi mente. No sé si se puede tomar en cuenta. Esa fue mi idea y sinceramente les doy las gracias por haberme invitado. Y esa sería mi sugerencia, donde todas las proveedoras de cuidado infantil de Rhode Island quizás nos viéramos beneficiadas. Y yo sé que hay fondos y claro, los fondos económicos nunca van a estar de más, pero esta sería una ayuda en general para nosotros, las proveedoras de cuidado infantil en casa. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Alexandra. Thank you very much. Yes, in the past, we have the opportunity to receive feedback from other business owners, and that part of marketing business support is something that we consider is really needed by the business owner. So that consideration will be, that suggestion will be in consideration too. So thank you very much, Alexandra. Okay, let's continue with another essential service. We have Mr. Asriel Arce. He is representing Asriel Salon, her salon, and I would like to give him the word in order to express what is his opinion about this process and how he considered that we could help.
Thank you and good evening to all. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come together and really talk about all our concerns, especially in these times, because as they mentioned, it is like a domino effect. It's like it comes and goes. Me as a salon owner, I own a hair salon and I'm also a instructor teacher. So traveling and visiting other local salons that I teach to, seeing how they've all been affected with COVID, how so many of our customers have passed away, have been affected by their families, have had to move away because of emergency situations and are not in business anymore, has been a horrible effect for them, especially in our community. Us hairdressers, barbers, and anybody in our industry, our main focus is what we do is sell confidence. We uplift people. We try to touch their heart and soul and make them feel good about themselves. And we're considered like therapists in this industry. And anybody that even tries to call a therapist nowadays, there's nobody available. So we're number one place where people want to come to. But most people are afraid now to even come to a salon. And it's like we have to work very delicate. So our volume is even smaller than the regular, volume that we're used to. So we're working so delicately in a way that it's almost like it's a struggle. And it's a real struggle. And us as a community, me being a Latino in my community, I stand strong. I've been donating clothes in my shop, for local people in my area that have lost everything because they can't afford stuff. Like going back to school, a lot of people didn't even have book bags or stuff, and I've done donations. So it's such a hard struggle now, and it's so important for us to not forget about hair salons and forget about us as a community to really understand that we do need to stand strong in these times, because me going through this experiences that I've lost so many beautiful people, this has been one of the most challenging years for me, because it's like an awakening that we really have to live more in the power of now and really come together with more stronger plans on how to have a better future for us, and to want to keep growing in our retail, and not just focus on me wanting to stay mobile, because I've had to service people in a more mobile way because they're afraid to even leave their home. So it's important for us to continue to have this voice, continue to come together as, you know, a community and voice our concerns. And I'm looking always forward to ways to even convince my culture, because I feel like when I even talk about events like this and talk about the amazing help that we get provided, it's almost like we don't believe it, because we're so used to coming to our country, this country here, and just working for and working hard. But what happens when we can't service our customers and we're shut down? What do we depend on now? So it was definitely a big awakening for me as a business owner, losing so many friends, customers, clients, and loved ones, and now trying to rebuild myself. And it's almost like we can never catch up, because it's like the money that we get is almost evaporates because we're still trying to catch up and catch up. So I would love to even offer my business as a place to even help more, you know, people in the community to come together and host events in any way for us to improve ways to keep going in our community. Thank you for hearing me out.
Mr. Israel, what do you consider could be the priorities? How we could use the funding that is federal government send it to the city of Providence? How, what do you think could be best used in order to support a small business like yours?
That's a great question. I think our focus should not just be focused on specific areas. I think that especially, you know, me having such a diverse clientele, I have clients that I've serviced everywhere, like in Johnston locations, in Pawtucket locations, and in all around. You know, I think what would be best is for us to create a foundation on whoever's really in need, that it services the community, like, you know, like hair salons, barbershops, like people that have public businesses like that. We depend on customers. So we need that support, because when customers stop coming because they're afraid and scared, and we've lost so much volume, I think that in being able to empower that movement and improve that structure and implement, you know, more meetings where people that have had more success stories and talk more about it and host more events like we're doing now would be a great improvement of that support.
Okay, thank you very much for your input. We appreciate that you give us your time. We will keep you updated. Any other thing that you or people that you know want to collaborate with the task force and with all this process, remember going to the webpage that we are putting in the chat, the direction that Jill showed at the beginning. So thank you very much for being here with us. Okay, so well, I think that we are now, we have the opportunity to open to the public input. So I will appreciate if anyone could say some words and give us your comments about this process, please. We open the public input.
Oscar, my name is John Cleaning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the questions I have, and I'm having a hard time trying to find it, is because I have two questions. The first question I have is, I live in Newport, Rhode Island, not Providence. Does that, any of your programs apply to me?
Well, this task force is concentrated for the city of Providence. The business are located in Providence and service provided in the city of Providence.
Okay, so then the question I have for you is, where would I best go for advertising my business, not monies, advertising my business to the Spanish community in Providence? Who would I talk to about that?
Okay, we will provide more information for you out of this meeting, but
Okay.
we have I think that is connected today, Mr. Victor, which is the Business Development Director in the City of Providence. He could have more information, but there is also the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is statewide, but they could help you. Okay.
I see. Okay.
So
Thank-
we will
thank
try
you.
to connect with you out of this meeting to provide more information.
Thank you very much. You bet.
Thank you. Okay, we are in the public comment session, so please feel free to add, give us suggestions about how this funding could be better invested in our community. So anyone who want to add something?
Hi, Oscar. This is Mary Ann Matthews at MIC. I would like to submit a list of things that I think might be helpful that I've experienced through this pandemic, working with some of the Providence agencies in conjunction with our particular clients in the Providence area. So I will send that into the group. What would be a good email address to send that to?
We will provide you in the chat. We will write immediately what is the best email address. Would you like to share some of the content that you want to send? Would you like to share it now? Marianne?
She's on mute right now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, certainly. Well, some of the more obvious things are the industry supports that are needed. As you spoke, there are particular industries that have individual nuances to their business that would need to be supported. For example, the restaurants and entertainment groups, hospitality. They, even in that particular group, each have their own things that really they needed to struggle with. One might be advertising, certainly assistance with marketing. Another is e-commerce in general. I think all of the small businesses could use some assistance with e-commerce, just learning the mechanics of e-commerce and finding some assistance to get it started at least. And they've also struggled with just sort of points of sale. Lots of the smaller businesses in the city are still working with old cash registers and could use some training on points of sale software and securities, as well as internet securities. A lot of folks are still learning the internet process and what some of these uses are on the internet, and would put something on a web page or create maybe a WordPress website, but that is not so secure today. So we would want to make sure that they would have the supports they needed for internet sales. Transportation is another area that could use support. There's a lot of new ways to think about how we do transportation. I know one of the things that we talked about in the restaurant area was actually being able to handle deliveries, and the gouging that went on with some of the delivery services, and some of it's been addressed, but there are still opportunities that we can assist these smaller restaurants with getting deliveries out in community spaces. And I think one of the other places that we could do a lot of, I think the biggest impact that I personally think would be great is to utilize some of the community trades folks in home repair and being able to work up to take care of the communities. And we've got senior communities or distressed communities that really can't, ill afford to maybe fix a broken window or drain pipe, which is really, a critical thing to their homes. But maybe we could, increase that ecosystem where as the you know, there's a local plumber or a local paint person or a local handyman in the community that could get a job to work with some of these community homes that are distressed and not charge the homeowners, so that we can, you know, keep them in a safe place. There are lots of little things like that.
Okay, thank you. You can send the content to pvdrescueplan@providencearray.gov, pvdrescueplan@providencearray.gov. Thank you for your participation and for sharing with us part of what you have in your documents. Thank you very much. So we continue in our public comment session. Anyone else, please feel free to give us your comments. Well, we have some minutes. There isn't any other information that we want to share. Diana, Perdomo, or Jill, anything that we can take advantage of those 8 minutes that we have before close the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add on to the last point that was just brought up. We will be posting a section of the website that will allow for organizations to submit ideas and concepts going forward. I think Jax mentioned this in part of her presentation. That should be up pretty soon this week. And what we can do is send that notification out once it is up to other people, folks who joined our meetings, so that you can be prompted to submit ideas there as well. In addition to making sure you take that survey, we're really looking for as many people's input as possible into the process. Yeah, that's all I would add. You know, it's really important for us to serve this particular community, and making sure that we have good insight as to what your needs are as we develop the programs for these funds would be really helpful. So thank you for coming and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so we have some exactly 6 minutes. I would like to leave the space open to someone who wants to add something. Remember that this is a process that we are following in order to suggest and present recommendation how to invest the funds that will be allocated to the city of Providence.
Hi, yes. My name is Ruthie Rodriguez. I work with Social Enterprise Greenhouse. At SEG, we provide comprehensive menu for businesses development services in Spanish and in English, and that we can respond to the unique needs of the businesses that, you know, what they have, the businesses, what they need. We offer classes to help you launch, or we help you launch your ideas, put them into motion, and then get them out in the public, you know, providing like website development, legal services, anything that the entrepreneur nowadays needs, any type of resource, SEG, we also offer that for the entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Ruthie. Okay, well, if there is no more comment, we will close the public session. And I want to say thank you, everybody who participated in this meeting. We will continue doing community conversation and opening other conversation space in order to collect more information that could be possible for us in order to back up our recommendation, our final report. So I want to say thank you to the team, Diana, Jax, the consultant, Mira. So thank you very much. And thank you all the people who was present today. We highly appreciate your participation and your input. So saying that, I think that we will close the meeting for today. Thank you very much.